Take a moment and look at your hands. These hands that have worked, loved, created, and carried you through decades of life. Now imagine these same hands at 85, 90, even 100 years old, still strong enough to garden, to hold your great-grandchildren, to paint, to write, to embrace life fully. Is this possible? Science says absolutely yes, but only if you understand the signs that truly predict longevity. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been sold a false narrative about aging. We've been told that our health after 70 is primarily determined by luck or genetics. But groundbreaking research reveals something revolutionary. Up to 80% of how we age is determined not by our genes, but by our daily choices. Today, I'm going to share with you the 7 scientifically proven signs that predict how long you'll not just survive, but thrive after 70. These aren't just theories. These are evidence-based patterns observed in those remarkable individuals who reach their 90s and 100s with clear minds, strong bodies, and joyful hearts. And the most beautiful truth? Each one of these signs is something you can influence starting today, regardless of your current age or health status. So open your minds, open your hearts, and prepare to transform your understanding of what's possible in your golden years. Because aging isn't about decline. It's about becoming the most magnificent version of yourself with the wisdom of decades behind you. Your body is designed for movement. Not occasionally, but consistently, throughout your entire lifespan. The research is crystal clear on this point. Individuals who maintain regular physical activity into their 70s, 80s, and beyond consistently outlive their sedentary counterparts by 5 to 7 years on average. But it's not just about adding years to life. It's about adding vibrant life to those years. When researchers at Stanford University tracked seniors over a 21-year period, they discovered something remarkable. Those who maintained regular physical activity didn't just live longer. They compressed their disability into a dramatically shorter period at the very end of life. While sedentary individuals spent an average of the last 8 to 10 years of life with significant disability, the physically active experienced disability for only the final 1 to 2 years. Think about that profound difference. An additional 7 to 9 years of independent, capable living. But here's what many don't understand. The type of movement matters tremendously. Seniors who incorporate 4 specific types of exercise, cardiovascular training, strength training, balance work, and flexibility exercises, show the greatest longevity benefits. Walking is wonderful, but it's not enough alone. The ability to rise from a chair without using your hands at age 70 is one of the strongest predictors of whether you'll make it to 85. When you strengthen your muscles, you're literally strengthening your hold on life itself. Perhaps most encouraging is that it's never too late to start. Studies of nursing home residents in their 90s show that beginning strength training can increase muscle mass by 200 to 300% in just 8 to 12 weeks. People who had been wheelchair-bound for years regained the ability to walk. The body maintains its remarkable capacity to adapt and strengthen at any age if given the proper stimulus. The maintenance of mobility creates a virtuous cycle that touches every aspect of health. When you move with confidence, you engage more socially. You maintain independence. You challenge your brain with new environments. Your circulation improves, delivering oxygen and nutrients to every cell. Your mood elevates through the release of natural endorphins. Your bones strengthen in response to the demands placed upon them. Remember this truth. Sitting is the new smoking. Every hour spent in a chair or on a couch is actively shortening your life. But each step you take, each weight you lift, each stretch you perform is a declaration that you choose life, vitality, and independence for as long as possible. The human body will never fail to respond to appropriate movement challenges, regardless of age. This isn't opinion. This is established scientific fact witnessed in study after study across diverse populations worldwide. The quality and quantity of your relationships may be the single most powerful predictor of how long and how well you'll live past 70. This finding emerges consistently from the landmark Harvard study of adult development, the longest-running study on happiness and health ever conducted. After tracking participants for over 80 years, the conclusion was unmistakable. Those with strong social connections were 3 times more likely to maintain health and happiness in their later years than those who were isolated. When researchers examined the blood work of seniors with robust social networks versus those who were isolated, they found dramatically different inflammatory profiles. Chronic inflammation, the root of most age-related diseases, was up to 200% higher in isolated individuals. The emotional pain of loneliness triggers the same biological stress responses as physical danger, flooding the body with cortisol and adrenaline. When this continues chronically, it literally accelerates the aging process at the cellular level. The data from blue zones, regions of the world with the highest concentrations of centenarians, consistently shows that meaningful social integration is present in every longevity hotspot on Earth. In Okinawa, they have the MOI, social support groups that people stay with throughout their entire lives. In Sardinia, multi-generational households and daily community gatherings create constant social contact. But quantity alone isn't sufficient. Quality matters profoundly. Research from Brigham Young University found that chronic conflict in relationships can be more damaging to health than smoking or obesity. Conversely, having even one person you can completely confide in increases survival rates after heart attacks by over 50%. The presence of toxic relationships can negate the benefits of otherwise healthy habits, while positive relationships magnify the benefits of everything else you do right. As we age, social circles naturally contract through retirement, health changes, and the passing of peers. This makes proactive social engagement increasingly important. Each new friend or social activity in your 70s and beyond represents an investment in both the length and quality of your life. Volunteering, in particular, emerges as a powerful longevity enhancer. Those who volunteer regularly after retirement show a 44% lower mortality rate than non-volunteers, even accounting for pre-existing health conditions. Perhaps most striking is that social connections influence how your genes express themselves, a field known as epigenetics. Studies of seniors with similar genetic profiles show dramatically different outcomes based on their social integration levels. Your DNA may load the gun, but your relationships help determine whether it fires. Remember, humans evolved as tribal creatures. Our bodies interpret social isolation as a threat to survival at the most fundamental biological level. When you prioritize meaningful connection, you're not just improving your emotional well-being, you're aligning with your deepest evolutionary needs and activating longevity pathways that no medication can replicate. Your brain's vitality is not destined to decline with age. This is perhaps the most pervasive and damaging myth about aging. The truth, supported by decades of neuroscience research, is that cognitive function can be maintained and even enhanced well into your 90s and beyond through deliberate mental engagement. The concept of neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to form new neural pathways throughout life, has revolutionized our understanding of cognitive aging. The Nun Study, a groundbreaking research project that followed 678 Catholic sisters over decades, delivered a stunning discovery. When researchers examined the sisters' brains during autopsies, they found that some women whose brains showed extensive Alzheimer's pathology had displayed no cognitive symptoms during life. The differentiating factor? These women had maintained high levels of cognitive engagement throughout their lives. Their brains had developed what neuroscientists now call cognitive reserve, alternative neural pathways that bypassed damaged areas. This isn't about doing crossword puzzles or playing brain games, which have limited transfer effects. The most powerful cognitive protection comes from learning complex new skills that integrate multiple brain regions. Learning a new language after 70 can delay dementia by up to 5 years. Mastering a musical instrument creates widespread neural growth. Dancing, which combines physical movement, social interaction, and cognitive challenge, reduces dementia risk by an astonishing 76%, more than any other leisure activity studied. The level of cognitive complexity in your occupation throughout life strongly predicts cognitive longevity. But retirement doesn't mean this benefit must end. Those who engage in mentally demanding volunteer work or encore careers show cognitive trajectories similar to those who never retired. The key is continued challenge. The brain, like muscle, atrophies without resistance. Perhaps most encouraging is research showing that cognitive training in specific domains can produce measurable improvements at any age. The active study demonstrated that seniors who received just 10 sessions of reasoning training maintained significant cognitive advantages over controls a full decade later. Their enhanced cognitive abilities translated to measurable real-world outcomes, including better medication adherence, fewer automobile accidents, and longer maintenance of independent living. Your cognitive health also profoundly affects your physical health. Through multiple pathways. Cognitive decline often precedes physical decline, creating a cascade effect that accelerates overall aging. Maintaining executive function, your ability to plan, organize, and execute complex tasks, predicts your ability to adhere to health-promoting behaviors like medication management and exercise routines. The brain's remarkable ability to generate new neurons, neurogenesis, continues throughout life, though at a slower rate with age. This process is dramatically enhanced by physical exercise, which increases production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, described as miracle grow for the brain. The combination of mental and physical challenge creates synergistic effects greater than either alone. Remember this empowering truth. Cognitive decline is not inevitable. Your brain's capacity for growth, adaptation, and resilience extends throughout your entire lifespan when given appropriate stimulation. Every new skill you learn, every intellectual challenge you embrace, and every creative pursuit you undertake is literally reshaping your brain's architecture in ways that can extend your cognitive vitality for decades. Your daily food choices represent perhaps the most powerful pharmacology you'll ever encounter. Each meal is quite literally programming your genes, influencing thousands of metabolic processes that either accelerate or decelerate aging at the cellular level. The research is abundantly clear. Specific dietary patterns consistently emerge as powerful predictors of longevity after 70. The most compelling evidence comes from studying the world's blue zones, regions with the highest concentrations of healthy centenarians. Despite geographic and cultural differences, their diets share striking similarities. Plant predominance, over 90% of calories, minimal processed foods, moderate caloric intake, and regular periods of low protein consumption. These dietary patterns activate longevity pathways like sirtuins and AMPK while suppressing pro-aging pathways like mTOR and IGF-1. Particularly powerful is the role of nutrition in controlling inflammation, now recognized as the common denominator in virtually all age-related diseases. Specific compounds found predominantly in colorful plant foods, polyphenol, carotenoids, and terpenoids, have been shown to directly inhibit inflammatory signaling cascades. Those who consume the highest levels of these compounds show dramatically lower levels of inflammatory biomarkers like C-reactive protein and interleukin-6, regardless of genetic predisposition. The Mediterranean dietary pattern, rich in olive oil, fish, nuts, vegetables, and fermented foods, consistently predicts lower mortality rates among seniors. The PREDIME study found that high adherence to this pattern reduced cardiovascular mortality by 30% and overall mortality by 25% in just 5 years. But even more striking was the finding that those who adopted this pattern after age 70 still captured nearly the full benefit, demonstrating it's never too late to change your nutritional trajectory. Intermittent periods of caloric restriction or time-restricted eating show particular promise for extending both lifespan and health span. When seniors adopted a 16:8 eating pattern, all calories consumed within an 8-hour window, remarkable metabolic improvements occurred within just 12 weeks. Reduced insulin resistance, lower blood pressure, improved lipid profiles, and enhanced autophagy, your body's cellular recycling system that clears damaged components. The gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria inhabiting your digestive tract, emerges as a critical mediator between diet and longevity. Centenarians consistently show greater microbial diversity than younger cohorts, with particularly high levels of bacteria that produce short-chain fatty acids. These compounds strengthen gut barrier function, reduce systemic inflammation, and even influence brain health through the gut-brain axis. Fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi directly support these beneficial bacterial populations. Perhaps most empowering is the emerging science of nutrigenomics, which reveals that dietary compounds can literally switch genes on and off. The foods you consume are not just providing energy and building blocks, they're delivering information that your genes respond to. Compounds like sulforaphane from broccoli, resveratrol from grapes, and curcumin from turmeric have been shown to activate genetic pathways associated with longevity and disease resistance. Remember this truth: there is no medication, no surgical procedure, and no technological intervention that can match the profound anti-aging impact of optimal nutrition sustained over time. While genetics loads the gun, diet pulls the trigger, and this remains true throughout your entire lifespan, including well past 70. The dietary choices you make today are literally shaping the cellular reality you'll inhabit tomorrow. Sleep is not a passive state of rest, but an active process of restoration that becomes increasingly crucial after age 70. Yet it's often the most overlooked aspect of longevity. The research is definitive. Sleep quality emerges as one of the most powerful predictors of how long and how well you'll live in your later decades. Those who maintain high-quality sleep into their 70s and beyond show dramatically lower rates of virtually every age-related disease. The groundbreaking work from UC Berkeley's Center for Human Sleep Science revealed something remarkable. During normal aging, deep slow-wave sleep naturally decreases. However, this decline is not inevitable or uniform. Those who maintain higher percentages of deep sleep in their 70s and 80s show measurably better cognitive function, immune response, and metabolic health than age-matched peers with poor sleep quality. Sleep's impact on cognitive longevity is particularly profound. During deep sleep, your brain activates its glymphatic system, a recently discovered cleaning mechanism that clears damaging proteins like beta-amyloid and tau, both implicated in Alzheimer's disease. A single night of disrupted sleep can increase beta-amyloid by up to 30% in vulnerable brain regions. Conversely, those who consistently achieve sufficient deep sleep show dramatically slower rates of cognitive decline, regardless of genetic risk factors. The metabolic consequences of sleep disruption are equally striking. Just 3 nights of insufficient sleep creates a pre-diabetic state in otherwise healthy individuals, with blood glucose levels rising by up to 40%. Over time, chronically disrupted sleep recalibrates your entire endocrine system toward a pro-aging state. Increased cortisol, decreased growth hormone, insulin resistance, and leptin/ghrelin imbalances that drive inflammation and excess body fat accumulation. Sleep quality exerts profound influence on cardiovascular health, particularly important after 70 when vascular systems naturally become less resilient. During normal sleep, blood pressure decreases by 10 to 20%, the nocturnal dip, giving your arterial system crucial recovery time. Those who maintain this healthy dipping pattern show 40% lower rates of heart attack and stroke compared to non-dippers, even when daytime blood pressure is identical. The immune system depends critically on sleep for optimal function, with research showing that natural killer cell activity, your body's first line of defense against cancer and viruses, can drop by over 70% after just 1 night of poor sleep. This becomes increasingly consequential after 70 when thymic output naturally decreases. Studies of seniors who regularly achieve 7+ hours of quality sleep show significantly better responses to vaccines, faster wound healing, and lower rates of infection than age-matched poor sleepers. Perhaps most encouraging is that sleep quality remains highly modifiable even in advanced age. When seniors with sleep difficulties adopted comprehensive sleep hygiene practices, consistent sleep, wake times, proper light exposure patterns, temperature optimization, and cognitive wind-down routines, over 80% showed significant improvements within just 2 to 3 weeks. Unlike many aspects of physiology, sleep systems remain highly responsive to behavioral modification throughout life. Remember this profound truth: there is no system in your body that isn't adversely affected by poor sleep, and none that doesn't benefit from restorative sleep. While we've been culturally conditioned to view sleep as expendable or even as a sign of weakness, the science reveals the exact opposite. consistent quality sleep represents one of the most powerful anti-aging interventions available to you at any age, requiring no prescription, carrying no side effects, and available at zero financial cost. Your mindset, how you perceive challenges, interpret setbacks, and maintain perspective, emerges as a surprisingly powerful predictor of longevity after 70. This isn't philosophical speculation but hard science measured in telomere length, inflammatory markers, and survival rates. The landmark Ohio longitudinal study of aging and retirement followed 1,100 seniors for 23 years and made a stunning discovery. Those with positive perceptions of aging lived an average of 7.5 years longer than those with negative views, a greater impact than not smoking, maintaining healthy weight, or exercising regularly. The physiological mechanisms behind this mind-body connection have been illuminated through advances in psychoneuroimmunology. Your thoughts and perceptions trigger real biochemical cascades throughout your body. Chronic stress and negativity flood tissues with cortisol and inflammatory cytokines, accelerating cellular aging. Conversely, positive outlook and effective stress management activate parasympathetic nervous system function, reducing inflammation and oxidative damage while improving immune surveillance. Particularly powerful is the impact of purpose. The Rush Memory and Aging Project followed over 1,200 seniors for up to 10 years and found that those with high purpose scores were 2.4 times less likely to develop Alzheimer's disease and mild cognitive impairment. Even more remarkably, when researchers performed autopsies on participants who had died, they discovered that those with strong purpose showed far better cognitive function before death than would be expected based on their actual brain pathology. Purpose literally creates cognitive resilience. Research from the field of epigenetics reveals that psychological well-being influences how your genes express themselves. A landmark study at UCLA demonstrated that seniors experiencing chronic stress showed accelerated epigenetic aging. Their cells were biologically older than their chronological age. But those who practiced mindfulness meditation for just 8 weeks showed measurable reversals in this pattern, with over 68 genes showing beneficial changes in expression patterns related to inflammation and cellular aging. Your response to stress matters more than the stress itself. Centenarians across diverse cultures consistently demonstrate specific psychological traits: adaptability, emotional regulation, and stress resilience. When faced with life's inevitable challenges, they perceive these as manageable rather than overwhelming. This challenge mindset creates vastly different physiological responses than a threat mindset, the former producing growth-oriented hormones like DHEA, the latter triggering destructive stress hormones. Perhaps most extraordinary is research on stress inoculation, the finding that moderate, successfully navigated stress actually improves longevity compared to either chronic high stress or complete stress avoidance. Seniors who regularly engage with manageable challenges show enhanced cellular stress resistance, improved cognitive flexibility, and greater emotional well-being. This creates an upward spiral where each successfully managed challenge builds capacity for the next. Gratitude practices show particular power in rewiring stress response patterns. When seniors engaged in daily gratitude journaling for just 3 weeks, researchers measured a 23% decrease in cortisol levels and significant improvements in heart rate variability, a key marker of autonomic nervous system balance. Even more remarkably, these physiological changes persisted for months after the formal practice ended, suggesting durable rewiring of regulatory systems. Remember this empowering truth: your mind is not merely a passive observer of your aging process but an active participant in determining its trajectory. The stories you tell yourself about aging, the meaning you ascribe to challenges, and the mental habits you cultivate are literally shaping your biochemistry. While we cannot control all circumstances of aging, we maintain tremendous power over our response to those circumstances, and that response may be the greatest predictor of how long and how well you'll live beyond 70. As we come to the close of our time together, I want you to truly internalize what science has revealed about longevity beyond age 70. These 7 signs we've explored are not separate factors but a beautiful, interconnected system. Your physical activity impacts your sleep quality. Your nutritional choices influence your cognitive function. Your social connections affect your stress resilience. Each positive choice creates ripple effects throughout this entire system. The most powerful revelation is that approximately 80% of how you'll age is determined not by your genetics but by your daily choices and habits. This means your future is not predetermined by your family history or your past. It means that starting today, regardless of your current age or health status, you can begin writing a new story for your later years. I've shared these insights not to add more items to your to-do list, but to empower you with the understanding that longevity is largely within your control. Small, consistent actions taken daily will compound over time into dramatic differences in how you'll experience your 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond. Remember that your later years need not be a time of decline and limitation. They can be some of your most vibrant, meaningful, and joyful decades, if you make the choices today that your future self will thank you for. As you leave here today, I encourage you to identify just one area we've discussed where you can make a small improvement starting immediately. Perhaps it's adding 5 minutes of strength training to your daily routine. Maybe it's calling an old friend to rebuild connection. It could be adding one more vegetable to your daily meals or establishing a consistent bedtime ritual. Whatever you choose, know that your body and mind retain remarkable capacity for positive change at any age. Your greatest health achievements may still lie ahead of you. The quality of your later years is being shaped by the choices you make today. Thank you for your attention and engagement. It has been my honor to share these life-changing insights with you. May you use them to create a future of vibrant health, profound purpose, and boundless joy that extends far beyond what you once thought possible. Your best years truly can be ahead of you, and they begin with the very next choice you make. Thank you.